Hey guys, it's CL, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I make brand new Critical Role recaps every Monday at noon, and would be happy to have you join the party. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit the Bertrand bell to be notified of future videos. Now, without further ado, let's discuss the first episode of Candela Obscura. Welcome to a brand new recap series of Candela Obscura. I don't know if I'm going to do every episode, but hey, if you guys like it, I'll continue to do it. Candela Obscura uses Critical Role's brand new system, Illuminated Worlds, and they use a d6, and they count damage in 3 ways. There's body, which is physical damage, brain, which is mental trauma, bleed, which is magical residue, and they have a bunch of other things like resistances, but I encourage you to go watch the quick start video to get better acquainted with the rules, and I'll put that in the description below. Our story is set in the fictional, seemingly ordinary region called the Fairlands. We open in the city of New Fair, a booming economic haven bursting with innovation, crime, and strange phenomena. We open on Augie James, Ashley Johnson's character, who is a young criminal class with a great accent that has lived on the streets most of his life, and he's been delivering the paper to get by. He goes and visits his last stop on his route, a good friend of his named Donald Kinso, who wants more for the boy, and as he adds coal to his fire while trying to talk the boy up, his fuel source explodes and sends the pair flying. Augie feels his soul leave his body, rippling out, and he can see the same happen to Donald, but then he feels himself being pulled back into his physical form as ice crystals burst out around the room and a dark shadow flees just as quickly as it appears. The scene fades to black as Augie loses consciousness. From there, we shift to the rest of our new friends, off in different corners of New Fair, all about to become twisted in Augie's story. There's Robbie's character, Dr. Howard Margrove, an older man in his 50s who's a bit rigid and in the professor specialty that teaches at Briarbank College. Then there's Laura's character, Arlo Black, a young woman occultist with long dark hair and a withered hand she keeps covered up in one glove. Finally, we have Anjali's character, Charlotte Eves, of the Magician Group, and she's the owner of the Sight Unseen Bar and Club, meaning she's very well established and connected. All three are met by a stout man with a feathered hat and a blue coat that give them new summons of the Candela Obscura, a secret organization that investigates phenomenon. As the trio unite at a diner, Augie awakes in the room of the explosion and finds the place crawling with special investigators, led by Officer Aaron Weimer. They break the news to the boy that Donald has died, and try to press Augie for information that he doesn't have. So they advise him to steer clear and try to gaslight him into believing that he's ill and he's hallucinated the entire thing. Shaken, he does as he's told and tries to keep a low profile, but discovers he's being tailed. A woman with gray-streaked hair and a clouded white eye catches up with him and introduces herself as Lightkeeper Alexandra O'Neill. She warns Augie of the target on his back and encourages him to join in investigating what happened with Donald. Augie meets the rest of the Candela group, the trio I mentioned earlier, and it turns out he has history with Charlotte, who's taken him in before on cold nights, and she isn't enthused that he's caught up in this, stating that she's also only here because something happened to her in her past. It seems that they all have connections. I mean, Arlo and Professor Margrove know each other from a past circle, and Arlo has that weird hand. It seems they've all been touched magically in some way. Augie finds out that magic is a real thing. Beings are seeping in from other realms, and what happened to him today may have been an incursion of something coming into this world, recalling the strange shadow. The circle decide to go check out the crime scene, Charlotte seducing and distracting the guard at the front of the building as the other three head upstairs once the coast is clear. There they discover an extremely cold room, ice everywhere, and find Donald, as a spirit, craving warmth, and he tries to steal it from them. Discovering in the room that Donald had bought the fuel that exploded from a street native named Layla of the Scavengers, Arlo uses an ability to gather info on what happened to Donald through her previous bleed wound taken earlier after she had touched the residue on Augie's clothes. Seeing the shadow beast rise and flee, the circle are able to escape a chilly death as Charlotte arrives and distracts the spirit with a tin can with flames set in it. With the name Layla, they follow Augie's knowledge and past dealings with her to the Clara house, a soup kitchen of sort, and question her under the guise of wanting to hire her for Charlotte's business. Layla got her extra fuel she sold to Donald from a gallery, and says that she's also sold some to the Evenock Foundry, a local factory. On the way there, they find the Periphery, the police force in New Fair, gathering frozen bodies, and Arlo uses a bleed detector to determine that the citizens were magically killed. They follow a third body to the foundry and hear gunshots as people run for their lives out of the smoking factory. Augie, Charlotte, and Howard run in and the doors shut behind them, Arlo having trouble getting in even after running a car-like contraption into the door. They encounter many flash-frozen bodies and their spirits hungering for warmth, and a shadow beast with burning orange eyes, the one that Augie and Arlo both saw, wearing almost a battle armor, adorned with a headdress. Alexandra, the Lightkeeper, later wondering if it was a burial rite or a curse. The circle split, Augie trying to investigate the office while Charlotte and Howard try to distract the monster. Augie finds a relic. Arlo finally manages to get inside, and as she grabs it to use it, the monster attacks her. But she's able to use a bleed-soaked necklace, a special item that negates the damage, and with her and Charlotte's blood, seal the shadow creature inside. Bloodied and tired, the circle head to the Gilded Rainbow, an eclectic bookstore safe house for Candela members, and turn the object over to their Lightkeeper after Howard makes an imprint of the design on a book. Alexandra welcomes Augie into the fold and invites him to stay at the bookstore, which he accepts. Alexandra stating she hopes that they don't see each other for a long time. The circle, now named the Vassal and the Veil, split ways and recuperate. Arlo running a bath and telling her housekeepers about her journey, and Charlotte visiting an older woman in a manor that she tells her stories to. What did you guys think of the episode? It seems we're in for a 3-part series. I'm curious how they're going to handle this as a short-term campaign. We know that they'll change DMs often, but will the party rotate? Will, say, Arlo come on with a new circle should Laura come back to the table, or one of the others? Or will they always play different characters? Or is this not a permanent staple in programming, and this excursion's just a 3-part miniseries? Like, what if it's just Candela Obscura for these 3 episodes, and then they use the Illuminated World system in a different game? Also, the new set is amazing. The moving gears behind Matt were awesome, and it's so cool to see how far they've come since their days at Geek and Sundry. What are your thoughts on the new system? The dice that they have up in the shop are really pretty, by the way. I'm still unsure how to feel. I think Matt's a really great storyteller, and I'm intrigued to see how it may change and develop. However, horror and this time period aren't exactly my angst, so hopefully the cast is enough to keep me engaged. Leave your thoughts and honest opinions below. I'm really curious at where you guys stand. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my recaps of Campaign 3 on my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on June 29th. Good day, my friends.